Yo, what's up, y'all? This is Boxingwave, fresh off the weigh-in between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Tyson slaps Jake Paul. I mean, they have to find a way to sell it, and I think the typical push is getting played out. So Mike Tyson slaps him. Is it scripted? I don't know. Everybody thinks this whole thing is scripted from the beginning. I'll tell you this: the last few days, the interviews that Mike has been doing, his mood has definitely changed. I just did like a video talking about this fight a few days ago, and I just feel like Mike hasn't shown that he still has that killer instinct in him. You know what I mean? And I know he's 58 years old. I know this whole thing might just be scripted. I don't know. Everybody's talking about contracts and what's in the contract and how much money. I'm hearing all these rumors. I'm not going to even go into all of that because I don't know if anything is true. But what I will say is that I don't want to see Mike friendly before a fight. You know what I mean? We know he's a friendlier guy now, but the way he's been giving his interviews the last couple of days, I don't know if he's just exhausted from saying the same shit in every video, in every interview, or is he really pumped up and ready to fight and ready to knock this dude out? Because it's all been fun and cool and laughs and jokes and stuff. Like when they had the other presser, I don't know if it was the most recent one or older one, but he's pushed Jake and he's laughing and joking. I like Mike serious like this. You know what I mean? And if this fight is all a joke to many people, a lot of people still feel like it's all a joke. And I get you, I feel you. Cool. But if this fight is serious, I want it to be serious. I don't want this to be like I'm getting a check, you getting a check, Netflix is paying us crazy amount of money. Let's just act like we have a thing going, and they still could be doing that. But one thing I will tell you is this: Jake Paul plays the villain role very, very well. And he's capitalizing off the fact that people don't like him. And I've said this about many other fighters before. Floyd did it well. Floyd Mayweather did it his whole, almost not his whole career, but I say starting at the moment he fought Oscar De La Hoya, who was the A side at that time. He has played the villain role, and people will pay pay-per-view money in order to see you lose in hopes that you lose. And Jake Paul is playing the game very well. And even if he does lose this fight, it's just the fact that he's talked and fought his way up to a Mike Tyson fight. Even though Mike Tyson is way past it and he's an old man at this point, the fact that he's even got Mike in the ring, it says a lot, and he's playing a villain role. And I think a lot of actual fighters, I say this all the time, especially like guys like Devin Haney. I think Ryan Garcia is clearly the best right now in all of boxing at playing the villain role, because he's literally saying anything he wants to say and people are still backing him and making excuses for the ridiculous. I mean, he's to an extreme level, but Jake Paul has played his role so very well. And even if this is scripted and Mike was told to slap this guy or whatever, it still is getting people into it. And like I said, I talk about this fight with people all the time. People that know I have a boxing channel. A lot of these people really think it's real. A lot of these people really think Mike is the Mike of the past and all of this stuff. Like, people really want to see Jake Paul knocked out. I've heard all kind of crazy shit from people what they want to happen to Jake Paul. And that means it just working. People want you to get hurt really, really bad because they dislike you that much. That means it's working and it's getting people to pay to watch this fight. All right. But one thing I want to just mention, again, I will be here live tomorrow to cover the entire card. One thing I will mention is the weight thing. I never really knew what the weights were going to be. I didn't know what Jake would come in as, because he's fought at like, I believe light heavyweight, or maybe like somewhere around there, maybe a little bit above that. But he's been fighting as a cruiser. But I know he's bigger than a cruiser. I know he's probably walking around at heavyweight. And they pretty much came in at the same weight. Jake Paul came in at 127. I believe Mike is 128. So Jake is obviously taller. He has the reach. Mike has never. Mike is at the weight he probably should be at this point. Because he's coming heavier when he wasn't in shape. I think Mike is at the best shape that he can possibly be at 58 years old. Okay, I think he is clearly training harder. He looks better than what he did against Roy Jones, and he at his age, and again I'm comparing age, he looks better before a fight at 58 than what he did at 38 when he fought Kevin McBride. Again, I'm comparing the fact that he's 20 years older than that, but he looks like he's more fit and ready to go, like he's in better boxing shape at his age than he was what he was at 38 against McBride and probably Danny Williams and stuff like that. So, look, I don't know what's gonna happen with this fight because again, I don't know. I really don't know like if this fight is for real or not. That's the one question I have. The one thing I want out of this fight outside of Mike winning is I just want I don't want him to get hurt. You know what I mean? If he does lose the fight, or even if he doesn't lose the fight and he happens to win or be winning the fight, health wise, he is a 58-year-old guy, and I hope he's okay. Like that's all I want. I don't want him to get hurt for real because he's fighting at 58 years old. And Jake Paul, who I don't think is that good of a boxer, but I also think that he's better than what people say he is. I think he is a decent guy that's not a career or a real boxer. I think he's okay. And I think at this point, the reason why this fight is somewhat competitive is because of the fact that Mike Tyson is 58 years old fighting a guy that's 30 years younger than him. All right. But yeah, I really have not much to say. I do want to do, I was thinking about doing another video about Mike, just talking about Mike and not this fight, but just talking about him and his career and stuff. I've never done a video like that, being that he's like my favorite fighter. I was thinking about doing like evaluation of Mike Tyson overall and what I think about his fights coming up and stuff and fights that I've seen in the past and just compare him to some of the other heavyweight greats. But as far as this fight, I really don't know how to call it. I think the smart pick is to go with Jake because I think any fight that Jake is involved in, it's geared towards Jake winning. You know what I mean? Because Jake is he's the one that's making these fights. His fights are his fights, no matter who he faces. Even in that one loss to Tommy Fury, he's fighting who he wants to fight. Um, so I'm still leaning towards Jake, but I would love to see Mike Tyson knock him out. I hope Mike Tyson knocks him out. But we'll see. All right. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I just dropped the breakdown for Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano too. So be on the lookout for that. I just dropped it, actually. It's public. So go check that out. And again, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.